And then you have to run I don't see any gray hair. I don't entirely yeah, exactly. Oh, hello. Oh, Tom. Hi, Matthew. Okay, great. Okay, yeah. Slowly but surely, right now I've been really busy with the hot club and getting everything going. So kudos on that article. Thanks, that was awesome. I'm ready to roll my sleeves. We're on?
Use this too. Okay. We'll edit this part. Wow. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My goodness, I feel like I know the whole room. Thank you for coming to the Louis Armstrong Center. My name is Ricky Riccardi, and walking past the threshold here, Mr. Matthew Fat Cat Rivera. Fresh off the New York Times, the Hot Club. Yeah. How many people have been to the Hot Club of New York? All right. We'll make sure we get our plugs in before. Yeah. Oh, you don't need to beg anymore. You're famous. I'm not thank you for being here. This is a momentous occasion. If you saw our little flyer, Hot 5 100th anniversary, and then there's a colon and the words Lil Hardin. And you might be wondering, why are we focused on Lil? For a few different reasons. We're actually breaking some news today. Here's a photograph of the original Hot 5 that originally belonged to Lil Hardin Armstrong. The story begins in 2019 when there was a jazz historian named Chris Albertson. And Chris passed away and left no will. He left no plans for his collection. But he had been working on an autobiography with Lil in the 1960s. His collection was moved to a storage unit in Amityville, New York. And the team of the Louis Armstrong House Museum, welcome back Sarah Rose. Sarah Rose is here for the first time in many years. And Junior and Highland and myself, we had one afternoon to go through about 150 pallets of stuff belonging to Chris Albertson. And at about 1:30 in the afternoon, that was the eureka moment where I found the surviving chapters of Memphis to Paris on a Piano Stool. It was 3 chapters of Lil Hardin's unfinished autobiography. That was cause for celebration, except for one thing. The Albertson collection, that manuscript ended when Lil met Louis. So, if you wanted the dirt on Louis, according to Albertson, she kind of got cold feet and didn't want to continue. But whatever. Albertson also had a bunch of her photos. We got the photos. We got the manuscript. We digitized everything. Now, the breaking news. There is a collector named Bob Sonnenblick Uptown Records. Some of you might have known him. He reached out to Lil's family back in the 80s or 90s and asked if they had anything. One of Lil's nephews sold him 4 boxes of Lil's stuff, which Bob Sonnenblick sat on, didn't tell anybody about, and then he died in 2018. His son Dave was going through his father's stuff, found these boxes earlier this summer, and donated them to the Louis Armstrong House Museum. Yeah, we could applaud for that. So what are we talking about? This will be a crash course. When these boxes came in July, our executive director saw me opening them and noticed my hands were shaking. And I've been very good. I've told very few people about this. So you guys really are here for the breaking news. But we're talking about photo albums. Lil spent years in Europe in the 1950s. We now have all of her photo albums. This is her in Paris in 1953. Photos of her and Louis. This is at the Blue Note in Chicago, 1952. Letters from Louis to Lil going back to 1925. Well, baby dear, I've just got in from our long drive at Roseland. That's the Fletcher Henderson days. I love the oohs and ahs. This is my people. Going right up to 1970. Dear Lil, June 30th, 1970. Louis thanking Lil for a birthday present and sending along an autographed photo for good measure. We have all of Lil's sheet music, commercial sheet music, arrangements, big band arrangements, combo arrangements, compositions. She even wrote out a cornet solo for Louis to play on I'll See You in My Dreams, which our man Andrew Stevens has already given it a run, and it swings. Not everything is roses and lollipops. We also have their quit claim deed. This is when they separated in 1931. This piece of paper was actually presented to Louis while he was heading on stage in Chicago in November 1931. But he signed it. And yes, we have their divorce papers as well. I didn't know that Lil was remarried, and we have the marriage certificate. She was married in 1949, but that also ended up in divorce. We have that divorce paper. But then personal artifacts, Lil's cabaret card from 1950. I tell people at home this and look, but this is great. Lil had, she had a long career as a musician. These are her set lists. So if you played a gig with Lil, she had these laminated keys and tunes. So, including novelties, Rocket, Handyman, Racehorse, Double Entendre Blues, but also Lover Man, Lazy River, Sleepy Time Gal, all that kind of stuff. Photographs, naturally, spanning all the years. There's one signed by Lil to her niece, publicity photos from the 30s, from the 40s. This beautiful tinted portrait of Lil early on. Photos of other musicians. That's the violinist Eddie South, signed to Louis in 1928. The banjo player in the King Oliver Band, Bud Scott, signed to my sincere friends, the Armstrongs. A Johnny Dodds photo given to Johnny's wife, Bessie. But more than anything else, oh, here we go. Reel-to-reel tapes. About 10 reel-to-reel tapes were found. Turns out Lil was a lot like Louis. She liked to just hit record and record, whatever was going on. We hired Matthew within hours of discovering these tapes to transfer them. And I asked if he would just take a little video. I don't know how exciting videos of reel-to-reel tape machines are. But here's a quick example of a party in Paris attended by Velma Middleton, Sidney Bechet, pianist Oscar Denard, Lionel Hampton, novelist Chester Himes. Who am I missing? There's more. Humphrey Littleton, Beryl Bryden, Babe Wallace. And it's just like 2 hours and Lil speaking French. Here's a little taste of this.
Mais aujourd'hui, c'est une idée. C'est une idée. C'est une bonne idée. C'est une bonne idée. Monsieur Henri et vous. C'est un plaisir pour vous voir aujourd'hui. Vous dites quelque chose.
Je suis content.
Pas trop vite, parce que
Je suis très content. Paraît-il que je ne dois pas parler trop vite. Hein? Je vais parler lentement.
Oui.
Et je suis très heureux aujourd'hui d'être auprès de notre sympathique Liliane. Je m'appelle Henri Eboué. Alors, paraît-il, il ne faut pas que je dise Liliane. Alors, c'est Liliane. C'est
bon, Liliane. C'est mon nom.
Au point de vue cœur, évidemment, c'est plus gentil, c'est plus intime.
Even in French, it's clear she's the life of the party, no matter what. But the most exciting discoveries revolved around the book. So I showed you the Albertson version, which is 3 chapters, and it's pretty intact. We have the early drafts where she's writing in the margins about, changing things. But then here's a letter from Albertson in which he writes at the end, "Are you going to send me the additional 2 chapters that you have written?" She wrote more. So I'm going through the tapes. And this tape right here, it's a Lil Armstrong book. It says Memphis to Paris book. Side 1, continuation, 2nd chapter. Got it. 3rd chapter, Dreamland. Got it. 4th chapter, Lewis. And I couldn't have scripted it. Side 2, Lewis, continuation. On August 2nd, Matthew sent me a text. He said, "Buddy, there is a 5th chapter, and it's all about Lewis." Here's a small taste here.
Believe it or not, it's 3:30 in the morning of December the 14th, 1961. Well, I have to tape this thing when I feel like it, so I went to bed early and just woke up. So here it goes, continuation of Chapter 4, which is mostly about Louis.
Chapter 4, mostly about Louis. We have 5 hours and 36 minutes of Lil Armstrong's voice reading a book that was never published, including about 2 hours of just Lewis-centric stories. And so, once again, this is the last of the reel-to-reel tape videos, but we are going to be hearing a lot more from Lil momentarily. This is because it's Hot 5 Day. This is Lil talking about going to the Chicago College of Music in the 1920s. We actually have her college notebooks upstairs now. Then she talks about rehearsing for the Hot 5 in her home with Lewis. And found in one of the scrapbooks is a photograph taken June 20th, 1952. Lillian with Satchmo's cornet. She kept Lewis's horn from the Hot 5 era. Where is it now? I don't know. That has not shown up yet, but it's out there somewhere.
I got what they call was a senior diploma. And I decided then and there I'm not any more jazz. I'm going to be a classical pianist and no more jazz. Time I